You are very inappropriate.
I like being inappropriate.
Broadscast is entertaining.
Come on, if I can't mess with you, this is not going to be fun.
Broadscast is thought-provoking.
That is a riveting revelation, Ms. Goldman.
Broadscast is unexpected.
Who do you like better, the person that people think you are or the actual you?
Oh, God.
Because they're nothing alike.
Broad topics, broad minds, broad hosts, but not just for broads.
We are man-friendly. I hope to be. I am man-friendly. I can't say the same about Kim. Wait, that sounded bad.
This is Broadscast with Kim Goldman and Jackie McDougall.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Broadscast. I'm Jackie McDougall here with Kim Goldman. Good morning, Kim.
Good morning, Jackie.
April Fools! Today, Kim is off saving the world, and I am here with the one, the only, Jeff McDougall, my husband.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
I am not Kim Goldman.
No, you are not. And you're going to have to talk a little bit more, you know.
What?
Closer to the mic.
Energetic?
Yes.
Do I have to bring my energy level up?
Yes, this is a morning show. We're not putting people to sleep in.
All right, fine.
All right, all
Take a
right.
sip of my
So it's
coffee.
April Fool's Day. And there you go, sipping the coffee. Thank you. First of all, thank you very much for being in studio today with me.
Of course, I love being here. It's very soothing in the studio.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Jared Hill. He is our design extraordinaire.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
So, anyway, it's April Fool's Day. Did you play any tricks on people today?
Well, I'm on the Broadscast show. That's pretty funny.
The Broadscast. Well, you know, no joke today, though. We're going to have an amazing show because Andrew Bowen
Yes.
and John Asher will be here. And if you don't know them, John is the director of a new film called Poe, which is in film festivals all over the place and will be opening up, in select markets around the country, and today's the first day of Autism Awareness Month.
That's right.
And this is a very important film to help make people aware of some of the challenges of autism and some of the beauty.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
I'm
Looks
really looking
good.
forward to it. Tuesday night. So go to broadscast.com and check out the post there because it has the information. If you're in the LA area and you want to go to the screening, you can RSVP, but I think there are only a few tickets left, so get on that. But Andrew Bowen, if that name sounds familiar, he is one of the stars of the film, but he is also known as voiceover guy around here. So maybe you recognize him from this.
You're listening to Broadscast with Kim Goldman and Jackie McDougall. Two broads with faces made for radio.
Voiceover guy Andrew Bowen,
Yes.
which I think people listen to the show sometimes just for him. So today I guess it would technically be Broadscast because
Right.
Andrew and John are on. You're on now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just surrounded by.
It's lost of testosterone energy.
Yes, there is. There is.
Yeah.
So, what I love though is I'm really looking forward to talking to them because they're both fathers of children with autism, as are you.
Yes. Yes, it's appropriate on this day of Autism Awareness Month.
Right. And so, do you think that when it comes to autism that dads are understood? Like, do you think?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
Wow, I didn't even
not,
have to finish that question.
not
Tell me.
in a- not in
tell
a-
me. Tell me.
Not in a, well, it's a simplistic question, I guess. But, I mean, I think the only people who really understand fathers of kids with autism are other fathers with kids with autism. I mean, it's a very unique position to be in, and and also I have to imagine that it's not the same for every father with a child with autism either.
Of course, but there must be a lot of similarities.
I'm sure there's got to be similar ground that has to be covered, but every child with autism is unique, so it's very unique. Yeah. But I can guarantee you that people who don't raise kids with autism really have no idea.
So what do you think are some of the challenges specifically about being a dad of a child with autism? Is it any different from being a mom or being a caregiver or being a grandparent? Is there a language or an understanding, from that male perspective? I don't know. I'm just
Yeah, I mean, I think so. But firstly, I don't know what it's like to be a mother of any kind with autism, kids with autism or not. That's a whole
You've
different.
been called a mother once or twice.
Oh, that's a little different context. But so it's a little hard to compare the two. But yeah, I think it's different. I mean, there's a lot of worry and concern about your your child's well-being, which isn't untrue with any parent, but it's just different in so many levels when your child has autism. Wouldn't even know where to begin.
Do you feel like there's is there a grieving process? I mean, I know that, you and I obviously have gone through this together, and it took me a long time to come to terms with it. But, as a man, sometimes it's like you have a son and he's supposed to do this and be that. And you kind of have to come to terms with what you thought your child would be versus.
Absolutely.
I mean, I guess that's with every child, typical or not.
Sure.
But is there kind of an ego thing a little bit with men, or am I just?
I think there can be. I don't really suffer from that, I don't think, or experience that, I should say. For me, it's just I just want him to be okay in the best sense of the word. I want him to be able to take care of himself. I want him to be able to experience the world the way we all get to, which isn't always going to happen. And again, while that can be true for anyone, if your child has autism, you have a deeper understanding of the things he's going to face before he faces them. And that can be very stressful and disconcerting. And and it certainly changes the way you think about things and approach life altogether.
Right. Well, thank you, Jeffrey.
Sure.
So back to April Fool's Day.
Yes.
We need to come up with some sort of brilliant joke.
Oh.
Or
okay.
fool to play on our children.
Oh, well, that you mean like, but not the same way we do every day.
Exactly. I know. If you're listening and you're on Facebook, or you could follow on Broadscast on Facebook or Broadscast Show on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all of it. Mm. Let us know. Like, have you ever pulled off or been the subject of an April Fool's prank?
Yeah.
What about you? Have you ever? I don't think we've ever talked.
Have I ever been the subject of an April Fool's?
Like,
I'm married to you.
Wait, did I do anything good?
You've had some good ones over the years.
You know those Facebook, like, it shows what happened on this day years before.
Yeah.
You got me a few years back, like in 2009, because I noticed today it said, "Oh, Jeff McDougall got me," and I didn't write what you
but
did.
you have no reference of
7
what it
years
was.
ago, I'm like, I don't even know what I had for breakfast. Actually, I haven't had breakfast.
Yeah, I know. My big thing with playing April Fool's jokes on kids, generally speaking, is that you always want to, with kids, you always want to ramp up and not down. By which I mean you want to. The joke is something negative, so when it's revealed, there's a positive outcome.
Right. Well, yeah, we'd never be like, you have the day off from school.
As opposed to tricking your buddy like you won the lottery. Oh, no, you didn't win the lottery.
Oh, my gosh. Do you remember the time we did that to my brother?
Of course I do. That's where I was about to launch into. Like, you can do that to grown-ups. You don't do that to kids. You don't say, hey, we're going to Disneyland. April Fool, we're not going to Disneyland. Because that's just
that's therapy.
Mean. Exactly.
I mean,
that's therapy.
It's $140 an hour.
Yeah.
But that time, it wasn't even April Fool's Day. That's the best part.
Wasn't his birthday?
Christmas.
Oh,
no,
it was
Christmas party.
Christmas.
And somebody gave him that fake scratch ticket, and he's like, 10,000? 10,000?
Yeah.
10,000!
Yeah. I think that's on video somewhere, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, that was pretty classic. He was pretty upset.
He
I remember
was.
right.
Well,
yeah.
wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was just Great.
Yeah.
So I remember, I remember when I was little, because my birthday's on April 2nd.
Yep.
Just in case you forgot.
I did not.
But my brothers woke me up as a kid and were like, "Happy birthday!" And I'm like, "It's not my birthday. It's tomorrow." And they're like, "No, you slept through April 1st. It's your birthday." And I was skeptical until they convinced me, and I was like, "It's my birthday!" And they're like, "April Fools." So I was really young.
Yeah, your family's got a lot of history with the pranks.
Yeah, I know. I can't really complain about them given the fact that I was the one holding the video camera when my brother was scratching his fake scratch ticket.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're yeah.
I'm not an innocent bystander by any means.
Not even a little.
But you didn't do that with your family or your brother or anything?
My parents never really did that to us. Scott and I would occasionally
damage you. Like
I didn't say that. They would occasionally prank each other, but they're pretty mild stuff. Nothing too elaborate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a fun day, but I do think that social media has killed it. Because now everyone's like, "I'm pregnant,"
right?
Or "We're getting a divorce," or it's the same crap year after year after year.
Yeah,
and it's just not funny.
No, and it's also too easy to check if you're doing something sort of epic, scale wise.
Right.
It's too easy to just look and see, if it's true or not, like with a click of a button.
Right. Yeah, but a lot of people don't. That's the thing. That's funny that you say that, because you could check with the click of a button, but that happens every day.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
That people could check with the click of a button, and they don't. They just comment on headlines, and they don't even read stories. So it should be very easy to trick people.
That's true. No, you're right about that. I mean...
But, Yahoo released a post yesterday, or not released, but, posted it. Published, and it said that all Trader Joe's stores were closing, and it was supposed to be published today.
Yeah.
And it really, really annoyed the heck out of me, because first of all, don't close my Trader Joe's, but secondly,
because it wasn't actually April 1st.
You get one day, April Fool's Day, not April Fool's week, not
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to be the bride.
Yeah, if you don't do it on April 1st, you're just lying.
Yeah. I know, like some of those crap sites that you and I constantly talk about that try to make up these fake stories.
I don't really...
It was dated weird. March 31st. Like, you don't get to pull... Unless you're planting the seed for something that ultimately you will prank on April 1st.
Right.
You can't just, hey, this is what we're doing on March 31st. That's just bogus.
You can't do that.
No, it's ridiculous. So... Again, join the conversation. Twitter at Broadscast Show, Facebook Broadscast, and you're also on Twitter. You don't use Twitter.
I have my Twitter account. I've
at Jeff McDougall.
Yep, I believe it's been a while. I check it once a month to see if it's still active. I mean, Twitter, not my account,
right?
Because I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop when Instagram kills Twitter or something strange.
Oh, he stops for a coffee break.
Coffee.
But I'm also on Twitter at Jackie MacD. So I'm looking at some of this. Kim and I like to look at trending topics, and there's really. Have you noticed more and more? And I don't know if it's an age thing, but when you look on Twitter and Facebook and you see what's trending, and there are a bunch of names that I don't even recognize anymore.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of like Dancing with the Stars, and you're like, Dancing with the what?
With the
like,
who?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Well, even the tabloids at the grocery store, I'm like looking at the covers, and I'm going, I don't even recognize the names. It's like I'm on a different planet Earth,
right? And it's crazy because all the people that we would recognize now are getting, and we're not that old.
They're either dead or they're just not relevant anymore.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's true. But we're going to take a quick break and come back with a little more chat. And then later on in the show, Andrew Bowen and John Asher from the movie Poe.
Yay.
Yay. We will be right back.
You're listening to Broadscast with Kim Goldman and Sweet Little Jackie.
Hi, this is the Monkey. My parents run the best social media company around. Go to starksocial.com today.
We are back, and you are listening to Broadscast, a special April Fool's Day edition with Jackie McDougall and Jeff McDougall.
Hello, everyone.
Kim is, let's talk about Kim for a second because
Sure.
she's not here.
Yeah.
She is constantly doing for others. Right now she's, speaking at a school,
Yeah.
helping kids out, giving her time, giving her, and she just doesn't get enough credit for all that she does.
She's very proactive that way.
And she and her little man are off and doing their thing. So
Yeah.
she's missed, but I appreciate you stepping in today.
I'm happy to be here.
Are you?
Yeah.
So spring break. That's another thing I wanted to talk about.
Spring. Oh,
Spring
you
break.
mean
Do
like
you know that our kids are on spring break in a few hours?
Yeah.
You remember when
Yeah.
spring? I don't know about you, but for me, spring break meant like visions of being in, Ensenada, tipped upside down with tequila and, being shoved down my throat and my head being shaken back. Whoa, just me? I mean, there were like, spring break meant some wild and crazy times.
Yeah.
Did
Well,
you
I
ever
mean,
get
yeah,
that
but
way?
our kids aren't
Now
there
spring break
yet.
is so different.
No, I was never that way.
No?
No. For
Would
me,
you ever go away for spring break? Things like that?
I don't know.
No?
But
Not your thing?
I was an introverted nerd who would read books.
You
and
were?
stuff. Yeah. Maybe I'd watch a movie marathon or something.
Woo!
Yeah,
That's
right?
crazy.
Yeah.
Now we're like, spring break, do you want to do a camp? Or,
Yeah.
we're going to take our kids to on a little surprise. But that's what it's become, is like
Right.
parenting.
Well, yeah, because we're parents.
I know. But I wonder how old,
You think we should take our kids down to Tijuana and do some
maybe
cake stands?
Yeah. At least show them how to do it right. Because, they'll go to college and, have no idea how to really tear it up.
Well, a college is for learning.
Is it?
That's where you.
Oh my gosh!
That's what they try to sell us.
Well, thankfully the kids don't listen to the show, but
Yeah.
it's just so funny how once you have kids, spring break takes on such a different.
Yeah, for me, it's that I just don't have to get up so early in the morning to drive them to school.
And you don't have to make lunches.
Which
I
is,
swear
that's a
I could
huge
cure
one.
cancer with the time, and it's not even. It's like 3 minutes to make lunches, but it feels like 3 days. It feels. I don't know, parents. Are you with me? Like the idea of making lunches every single day for school. It's exhausting.
It is.
And
Absolutely.
you don't even make them, and it's exhausting for you.
No, but occasionally I'll make them because for whatever reason.
I'm in bed or eating bonbons.
When you're eating bonbons, and it's tremendously stressful, unless you prep it in advance. But then that's stressful.
Right.
It's just stressful.
It's all just very.
No
very
one tells you
stressful.
that when your kids go to school that you have to go back to school.
I know. I
In
mean,
a
the
sort of
homework
sense.
and the projects and the.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this week we're off. So our spring break is the fact that we don't have to make lunches, get up at 6, and no homework or projects.
Right.
So that to me is just as good as being tipped upside down and having tequila shots.
Well, let's not get crazy.
Trust me, it's just as good. So
Okay.
all right, but we are going to take another break, and and you have to run, which is sad.
Yeah, my spring break does not mean I get to not have to go to work.
Yes, I know. And you need to go make some freeform magic over there.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate your being here. I wish you could stay for
Me too.
Andrew and John next
Well,
time,
you
for
know,
sure.
Well, say hi to them for me.
And you'll see them on Tuesday at the screening. Again,
Yes.
The screening of Poe, Tuesday night. Go to broadscast.com for more information. And I will be right back with John Asher and Andrew Bowen.
Goodbye, everyone.
You're listening to Broadscast with Kim Goldman and Jackie McDougall. They're huge in anywhere other than somewhere that you've been before.
If you're in the LA area, you are invited to a screening of an incredible film on Tuesday, April 5th at Paramount Studios. It's called Poe, and I'm extremely excited to talk with John Asher, the director of the film, as well as Andrew Bowen, who some people know around here as voiceover guy at Broadscast, who's also in the film. And happy birthday, Andrew Bowen.
Oh, thank you.
So,
thank you.
Thank you.
What? Oh.
See that? John didn't even know.
He didn't.
Yes.
That's good.
This is actually an intervention, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm saying that's the best part about this is we're Skyping is I hope you're recording the Skype because it's just going to be like this the whole time.
Oh yeah. I would expect nothing less. So, I saw this, I saw this trailer and already was in tears. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do Tuesday night, watching this. But it's about a young wife, falls victim to cancer, and a single dad is left with the responsibility of raising his son, a sixth grader with autism. So, John, how did you, first come to learn about this script and get involved?
About 8 years ago, probably longer now. I keep saying 8 years, but now I'm starting to feel like it's feeling more like 2005. So about 11 years ago, I got the script from a friend of mine, Darby Parker, and it was right when I had separated from my wife and learned that my son was diagnosed with autism, which, Andrew and I's story, and I'll weave in and out here, but, Andrew helped diagnose my son kind of in a really weird way. When you go to auditions in LA, you have kind of the guys that you go up against all the time and you see them all the time and you end up becoming friends. You don't have a choice. Clearly I didn't have a choice with Andrew.
Because we look so much alike. Like we're always just, it's weird. It's like
uncanny, guys. It's uncanny.
Whenever I see him, which is just strange. Yeah. I look in a mirror and I see John Asher's face. I don't see my own.
That's because he's standing behind you.
Didn't know what they were looking for. But we used to talk all the time. And my son had a seizure the night before I went to network. And I told Andrew about it. And he said, maybe your son has autism. And you know what? He was right, because that's how they kind of discovered Reese's conditions. So back to Poe. That's what I was going through in my life. And that script came into my hands. And, of course, I read it and I was crying, and I was really crying, and I said, I have to make this movie. I have to figure out a way to make this movie. In the meantime,
it's impossible not to read the script and not cry. Like when he sent it to me the first time, I literally cried 3 times. I had to put it down. Like I couldn't function, and I had to get back to it.
Well, I think also, I also have a child with autism who's 11 years old, and when your child's first diagnosed, the range of emotions, that to read something where somebody understands what you've gone through or what you are currently going through, it's got to be pretty powerful.
Yeah. And the writer, Colin Goldman, has a son with autism. So it made sense, and I could understand what was going on, and I could hear his voice. And there are a lot of similarities in the script to kind of parallels in my life. And I think in the story, our hero loses his wife to cancer. So it wasn't just the fact that his wife passed away. It was that he was doing it on his own, and I had kind of, my ex was leaving my life. So it was like there was just similarities, same pulling direction. And I just knew I had to make it. And Andrew knew about it for a long time, but I never gave it to him to read until we had it financed. And it turns out that I actually have, I saved it on my phone, a video message from Andrew Bowen, which I won't play because it's personal between him and I. But look, he called me and he was crying. He wanted to be the lead. He was like, I'm the lead. This is the role I'm born to play. Unfortunately, we'd already cast the lead, who's great, Christopher Gorham. And he has a son on the spectrum. What? How did that even, like, now what you're starting to realize is that it's everywhere. This isn't a joke anymore. This is something that we really, really, really need to look into. And it's a very pressing issue. Maybe we need to get rid of plastic. I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? It's something. We'll figure it out. But it's.
But everybody. I mean, Burt Bacharach had a daughter who had autism as well, who took her life.
And he's provided some of the music. I mean, he's a legend. So
he scored the entire film, not some of the music. He scored the movie.
That's unbelievable. I mean, and I think autism is such a connection. So I was reading that you met him on a plane, John.
Yeah.
And you kind of were discussing autism and what's that?
You didn't even know who he was. He was like, "Hey, just shoot."
It's the weirdest story ever because I think the reason he even talks to me is because I don't know who he is still.
Right.
Like to this day, like people, I get it now, of course, but he really, I think, was he came on the plane and we were both sitting in pimpy first class, and I think I had upgraded my ticket and was kind of begrudging about it. Because I was like $400, all right. So, and then I'm sitting up there, and this guy comes. And he said, "Hey, help me with my coat." And I was like, "Okay." So I grabbed his coat and I put it in the overhead bin. And then he's putting Neosporin in his nose, and then he offers me some of it from his nose. And then we started talking, and then he said, "Yeah, I know, I'm in a band." And I was like, "You can't. How could this guy be in a band?" And he's still touring. And I don't know who he is.
Oh my gosh.
No problem saying this. He wouldn't stop talking the whole flight. Like I thought I was like, this guy won't stop talking. And then finally I got to talk about me because that's, I'm fascinated with myself. So I thought I was going to brag to this guy. I was like, I'm a director. I've made some movies, done some television, and I'm doing this movie currently that I just started casting about autism. And I could see his ears perk up. And he just, it's funny on a plane. It's funny. I think an airplane is the therapy of the sky. I mean, you sit down with random strangers. The things I've told people that I don't know on a plane.
Right.
It's just because you think I'll never see them again.
It's true. It's true. Like you do. I've had that so many times. I've been next to somebody and it's just 4 hours or 5 hours of just, and then you're like, "Hey, see you later."
Yeah. So he wrote his name down on a napkin. And because I'm dyslexic, I can't pronounce the last name. So to me, it's Bugaha. I don't know what's going on. And I call my mom, and I'm like, "Mom, there's this guy.
He's in a band.
He's in a band." And she's like, "Read me the name." And I'm like, "Burt Bukanak, Bukakrak." And she's like, "Burt Bacharach?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess so." And she's like, "John, stop it. You don't know who that is?" So then she said, "Go on the internet." And I went on the internet, and Wikipedia, my hair's blown back. And I was like, "Oh, my God." And I start frantically. I'm like, "I don't know what to do." And I'm like, "I got to call him." And then I called him, and I tried to play it cool. I was like, "Hey, man, we were just on the plane together. Call me." And he called me back. And,
oh, my gosh.
And the first thing he did is he gave me the song "Close to You." Excuse me. He gave me the rights to use the song "Close to You" that him and Hal David wrote. And which the Carpenters performed.
Yes,
and we
like me, they long. Exactly. I mean, come on.
Wow. Yeah. Just a little song. Just a little song.
Little song.
I would have sung more, but I really can't sing. So let's move on.
No. So Joy Bethany Lenz from One Tree Hill ended up singing it for us.
Wow.
And then he came in and watched the first cut of the film with his music. And not to mention, I got to give credit to Billy Idol's camp. Billy Idol's camp found out that we had got this song. And we went to them for Dancing with Myself, and they gave it to us as well. And when I say gave it to us, I mean both of these guys gave us their songs.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
What they really cost, it'll blow your mind. But I'm not. So anyway, so he came in and watched the rough cut of the film, and then he called me afterwards, and he said, "You know what? What if I just sit down at a piano and I score the movie for you?" And I was like, "Okay." So there's the story. That's the Burt Bacharach story.
Wow, that's just unbelievable. Like. This legendary guy that you don't even know who he is. So, wow. So now, Andrew, I was reading on your
Frank
face.
Sinatra's at Capitol Records and Frank Sinatra's original place doing all of it. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's serendipitous.
I mean, that's the power. But that's the power of autism. I think, as more and more people are affected every day, what is it? 1 in 88 kids. That
60.
What's that?
1 in 68 now.
1 in 68 now. There's this like kindred. It's family. When you meet people, sometimes it's like you get it. It's your family. You're one of us.
Instantly.
Yes.
Instantly.
And so, Andrew, I was reading on your Facebook that you were willing to be a production assistant in this movie. That you just needed to be involved.
Yeah. Well, when I left John the message, I literally was like, whatever. I mean, I will do anything and I'll help you in any way that I can or you want, because it was again, I had read the script and I'm not joking when I said I cried like 3 times reading it. I mean, it was a tough read because it hit really close to home. I mean, it's a very sort of, it's a very honest and portrayal of sort of, I don't think there's been a film yet that's really shown the sort of nuts and bolts of raising a child in the spectrum and sort of the stuff that you really have to go through. And there's so many things in the script and in the film itself that are like, I've been there, I did that. So, it was, and that's one of the things that I loved about it, was that it was smart and it was honest, but it also had this incredible heart and this really kind of, wonderful imagination to it. And it was just, it wasn't just like an autism movie. It was sort of a really great movie. It was a great story. It just happened to have this, this undercurrent that, involved, the spectrum and what we go through. So it was terrific. And yeah, I would have helped in any way possible. And it turned out that I kind of lucked out that John had another idea in mind, and ended up writing this really, which I'm not going to really say anything about because it sort of needs to be revealed when you see the flick, but this really sort of great, this great character in it that was sort of like, yeah, it was awesome. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had.
You're allowed to say that you're definitely allowed to say that you live in Poe's imagination. That's okay.
I play a character that lives in Poe's imagination.
Well, I think which is appropriate because you live in many of our imaginations, Andrew Bowen.
I mostly live in mine.
You guys need to be alone. That's fine.
But
my imagination. No.
So, John, you were mentioning before this came about when you were finding about your son's diagnosis. You were getting a divorce. Your ex-wife Jenny McCarthy is Evan's mom. What do you think? How do you think raising Evan and having your experiences, how did that color how you directed the film? Clearly it had to be in everything that you did as far as your experience. You can't take that out of it. So how do you think it affected it most?
It's authentic. I'm sorry, you jump in there. It's really authentic.
Yeah, it's literally, as far as raising a child with autism, it's exactly on the nose. I mean, I had to borrow, some of the situations Andrew goes through with Reese is different than the situations I go through with Evan, but there are similarities. And I think all of us have similarities in our autistic children. And I tried to pull those very typical, and I get to use the word typical for autism, those very typical behavioral situations that we go through with our children. I was able to pull those out and implement them into the character of Poe. The kid that plays Poe, Julian Fetter,
he's fantastic. He's amazing.
He's amazing. So, but yes, to answer your question, I mean, every facet of what I do, and that applies to everything that anybody directs or acts in. We use our life experience and try and get that on the screen as much as possible.
Now, it's hard enough to work with children or, young adults, but to work with a typical child, playing a child with autism, that had to be extremely challenging. Like, what? Talk about that.
Kind of. I mean, look, it all depends on the caliber of the actor you hire. This kid just happens to be incredibly gifted at acting. He has the it factor. He's very focused. And he's still a little boy. I can't tell you how many cookies he shoved into his mouth in between takes at craft services, and we had to like stop him. And then there was these kind of secret locations we went to for the Land of Color. But there was one in particular where, the pattern that the wind makes on the desert makes these really beautiful ripples. And it makes you want it to look like nobody's ever been there. But Julian's instincts were to go run through these dunes. And I was like, don't move, nobody move.
Wait.
So I promised him at the end he could run around and be a kid. Getting back to what you're saying, it's just about the discipline that the actor had. The kid is really a disciplined actor, a very focused actor. And we would play games. I mean, he had all of his dialogue for the movie memorized before we even started shooting. So what it came down to was teaching him physical hand movements and gestures and some stimming behavior that would depict emotions that he was having. So for every hand movement or gesture that Poe does, you'll notice that it correlates to a feeling that he's having inside. Again, this is my interpretation of what I think my son was doing, or still does to this day. But I always notice when my son stims, he does it when he's excited. So I know that's that electrical bolt of happiness that's going through my son. And I see him other times when he's concentrated or he's trying to calm himself down. He'll do this motion, but nobody can see it right now. So he'll rub his hand together.
This is radio.
I hope, yes. And then the horse came rolling and...
So has Evan seen the movie, or was he on set at all? Or even Reese, for that matter?
Reese was on set too with his dad, eating s'mores. And it's cool. I think I was talking about this yesterday on a show called Autism Live. And
which I highly recommend everyone should see the
yes, with
interview
Shannon,
that they
right?
did. Yeah.
Yes.
It's excellent.
I absolutely love her. I have so much
terrific.
respect.
We both did the show. We were talking before we got on today about how hard it is to talk with them, because the whole time you're just trying not to cry because you're in it. Right.
And we one of the things I was trying to tell you was that I think the reason Andrew and I'm speaking for Andrew, but I don't know if I'm right. But I think the reason we bring our kids to set is because, and this was the hardest thing for me to talk about yesterday, and I think it hit me yesterday, is as a father, the reason I don't know, you're lucky, Andrew, because you also have two typical kids.
I do. I'm typical. I have two typical children as well. So
yeah, but Reese coming to set and Evan coming to set, they have no idea that they're on a movie set. They really don't. They don't. They can't put all the components together that they're on a movie set. I think, and I don't know if they know to be proud of us, but we want them to be proud of us. Right. But I think I could see Reese there. All he cared about was eating the s'mores and that you were outside on a beautiful location, and he wanted to talk about the plants. But he could care less that Dad was doing a brilliant performance over there.
Right. Right, extremely unaffected, and that's actually part of the beauty. I actually watched that interview you guys did with Autism Live, and you talked a little bit about those victories. That when your son lied for the first time, you were like in tears because you were so proud. Like I remember when my son talked back to me in a very appropriate way, I was like, yes, I mean, it's little typical victory. The victories that you would get.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's so much being the parent of someone in the spectrum, is that you just, I think a lot of people, which I think is a great lesson, I think everybody could probably learn from all of this, is that you have children and they're born and you have all these expectations. Oh, he's going to be good at soccer, or she's going to be a singer, or you have all these ideas for him, and then when you find out that they have autism, you kind of have to let all that go. Because they're going to have this journey that's their own. So you have to sort of take those expectations away. And I think when you take those expectations away, you're allowed to just love them without anything attached to it. And I think that I like to think that that's something that I was able to take and pass on to my other two kids, is that whatever they want to do is it's not about what I hope their expectation is. It also simplifies it too, because for me with Reese, it's just I want him to be happy. I want him to have a friend. I want him to have a job. and maybe fall in love. That's it. When you strip it down, that's all we could ever want for any of our lives. And I think that's sort of definitely a gift that autism has given me from him. Because I think, a lot of times it's this weight, because again, the spectrum is so huge that, there's so many varying degrees. I have friends who have kids that are in their teens and nonverbal, but it's the biggest lesson, at least for me with all of it, is just love. That's what it ultimately comes down to, is it's unconditional. And if you have that with any of your child, I think they're going to have a shot,
Do you both feel like, you just made a great point too, is that society now, it's like kids, success and this and this and this and this and what my expectations are of you, and you need to be the best. And when you have a child with autism, it breaks it down to the most human level, that I want you to love and be loved and make an impact on somebody.
Yeah. I don't even, most of my notes for Evan are about safety.
Safe and be safe. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, look both ways, please, and the rest of it is, wait till you start driving. Wait till you start taking him driving. Because Reese now, my son, he's going to get his license soon. And I've been taking him driving, and I've been like, my mind is blown. Here's a kid that I didn't think I'd have a conversation with when he was 5, because he didn't talk till he was 5.
Right.
And now he's driving in LA with me to auditions. And I'm like, what? And he's actually really good. He's really good.
Because
he's got to be amazing. He's got to be the best driver in the world.
He's going to be because I'm like, all right, well, if you could drive here, you can drive anywhere. And he's like, okay.
If you have autism, you should automatically get a driver's license. They're probably, why? Because there's no emotion involved. They don't care if they get cut off. They're like, that guy cut me off. He's in front of me now. So what? It doesn't even, nothing that would go through their mind. It's just a car went in front of me. There's a car behind me. I know how to get from A to B. That's the thing. Like you talk about unaffected. They are so unaffected in such a beautiful way. I wish sometimes that I had that mind. That's why I wanted to jump into Evan's mind sometimes, so that I could just be. I don't need to be aware. I feel this feeling when I see him smile and he's happy. He's just in the moment. He's so present.
Present. I think that's what it is, because it's I think they look at things differently. So there's a present to it. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things I think too, which is really cool in the film Poe, for Julian's character, that John made a choice and the writers made a choice that, whenever he sort of, zones out or, disappears, that he actually goes into his imagination, into this place.
That he goes somewhere. And I think
that he goes somewhere called the Land of Color. And which I think is another reason why I think, which I think people are probably going to be, when they see the film too, are going to be surprised that Julian isn't in the spectrum. But ultimately, John needed to cast a kid who could play typical, because when this boy goes to the Land of Color, he's typical.
Right. That's interesting. So do you think that that's a really important message, John, to let people know who don't necessarily understand autism or don't have, obviously, children or people they love on the spectrum, that, when a kid with autism kind of zones out a little bit, they're not gone. They're somewhere. What do you think that people who aren't as familiar with autism will take from this film?
I hope that they'll take awareness. Really, I know that seems like such a broad statement, but that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make people aware of what it is, and that it's and not to be scared of somebody with autism, and not to be inhibited by it or judgmental about it. Hopefully they'll take away a sense of hope. I think the movie's designed to bring hope into the hearts of people and understanding. That's for me. For everybody, by the way, when they walk away from the film, it's a different thing.
They're going to take something completely different. Yeah.
Somebody gave it an amazing quote, which I wrote down because it's time to start doing quotes for the movie from reviewers. And this is a this is a review on the film, and I'm just going to give you the quote: "A surprising film that unfolds like a flower." So that's pretty dope. It's neat. It has a lot of layers to it. There's a lot of layers to this film. There's a lot of things going on simultaneously. Yet it's very linear story. You can follow it from A to B, but if you're paying attention to what's going on in Poe's room mainly, you'll see that the answers to the end of the movie are all over his walls. Well, I don't want to give away too much, but there's a lot of stuff in there.
So are you, will your kids be there on Tuesday? Will they be able to see the film?
My son or Andrew's kid?
Both.
Yes, mine will be there. All of them are coming, so I'll have the whole family there. So, which is cool because I'm kind of excited for Reese to see it.
Excellent. What about Evan?
I think Evan's going to be there. I'm not 100% sure, but we are working on it. He's missing 2 days of school. It's right after spring break, so I had to write a letter to the principal. And he lives in Chicago, so it's a little bit demographically tough. Right. I think that Evan's almost borderline too young for the film. Not based on his age, just based on where he is right now.
He's not 14. He's 13, right?
13, but I would think that mentally he's probably around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that he's getting there, but I think he doesn't like what he calls real movies. He calls them real people movies. It actually makes him a little panicky to see real people movies. That's why he loves.
Reese does the same thing, by the way.
So it's all about the animation.
He doesn't. Reese loves the animation, but like whenever it's a movie that's about sort of like real, real life human, stuff. Reese that's not where he wants to spend his free time. When he wants to watch, which makes sense. I mean, when he wants to watch a movie, he wants to let go and disappear.
Well, and escape, not feel more emotions and feelings necessarily. It's funny because I think when my son was first diagnosed and I started talking with more and more people about autism, it's like that they don't feel certain things, and it's the opposite. He feels everything. They feel everything. So I can imagine when it comes
hypersensitive on so many levels.
When it comes to entertainment, they want to escape, not necessarily have even more input.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be interesting too. I know for me, when Reese sees it, just to, it's going to be interesting to see what he takes from all of it. Because he's like you were saying, the maturity again, with autism, it affects a person's ability to communicate and form relationships that, developmentally and socially, all these kids are behind. But Reese, because he's almost 18, he's definitely at that point now where he can process things.
Right.
He can process bigger thoughts than he ever could before, which is sort of what I always try to tell people, because I always felt like I was the first person in my sort of group of people that had a child in the spectrum. Like I was, Renee and I were the ones who sort of had to, carve the path. I forgot my train of thought because I started thinking about all that.
That's all right. It's your birthday. That's because you're getting old. But so, John, I mean, clearly you're no stranger to, getting a lot of attention when it comes to being an autism
being
parent.
So handsome.
No, but your ex-wife Jenny McCarthy has been very vocal about your experience with Evan. What I also was driving home from work the other day and heard her plug your screening in Los Angeles on her radio show. So, what kind of input have you gotten there? And do you feel like because of all that attention in the past, that has helped the movie get a little bit more eyeballs on it, or are you kind of separated from that? Sorry,
that's a two-pronged question. Undoubtedly so. When you're in the public spotlight in a relationship with somebody else that's in the public spotlight, it's going to bring attention to anything you're doing. And with the two of us, luckily, we have a really healthy, friendly, awesome relationship. I mean, she is. I don't want to call her a sister because it's not like that type of relationship. We still care about each other a lot. We still love each other. I'm the father of her child. She's the mother of my child. And now she has a great addition to her life, who's Donnie Wahlberg, and he's amazing. I mean, really, all that dynamic is fantastic. And of course, the celebrity helps in promoting a film. And then the second part of your question was, what were her thoughts on the film? She it was really hard for her to watch for a lot of reasons. But it's not an easy film to watch. It's a hard film to watch because you're gonna ingest it differently. For each person has a different experience with their child. But this film highlights a lot of the similarities that we all go through. So in that, everybody takes away a little something different from Poe and learns a little something different from Poe, which I think is the magic behind the film. But to answer your question, of course, to be able to call her, and she says, and she brought it up. She was like, "Hey, do you mind if I talk about it on my radio show?" Think about that. Of course, that helps with promotion, big time.
Right.
Yeah. And she's a supporter of the film, and we're going to be talking about the film on Monday on her Sirius XM show, which she will be doing. Her show is called Dirty, Sexy, Funny with Jenny McCarthy, and that is going to be here in Los Angeles on Monday. So who knows? Maybe Andrew and I will be on that together. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's going to be. We're going to talk about the movie, talk about the screening, and it's going to be exciting. So yes,
I want to add something to that about the movie.
Of course you do, Andrew Bowen.
It's a tough no, but just for people who are watching, because I know when I read the script and I tell Renee about it, she's been very much like, I can't go there, because it touches on it hits so close to home,
right?
But I just want to make sure that people who are listening, who are going to see the movie, because they're going to have it's not more than just this special screening we're doing on Tuesday. I mean, it's opening up in 5 film festivals, I think in April alone, and then 6. And then
that's fantastic.
And then that's just the beginning. But that it's I'm not going to give anything away, but that they're not going to walk away heavy. Mm-hmm. Is that enough to say?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are.
Don't be afraid of going to see it because it's going to be so heavy that you're just going to walk away and be, depressed. It's not what this movie does at all. It's engaging. Mm-hmm.
It sounds hopeful. It sounds very hopeful.
It is. You're not going to walk away from this feeling, down. I think you're going to. It does have. I think it's got a terrific ending, and it's very empowering and inspiring. Due in no small part, and let me just say this, due in no small part to John Asher, because I think that, what hasn't really been said yet, and which I'm really excited about this whole process, is for people to see what an incredible talent he is. And that, I think that we're very lucky that we have someone like him making movies. So.
Come on, you're gonna make me cry. Yes.
All right, guys. So in parting, what give me something. Give me the 1-2 punch from John and Andrew. What do you want people to know?
I'll do the beat. I'll start the beat for it.
That you don't know, it's a little movie called Poe. What?
John Asher, Andrew Bowen, thank you so very much. It's the perfect start of Autism Awareness Month, and we'll certainly be sharing about the screening on broadscast.com as well, and they can also find it on Facebook.
Before you go,
yes,
I want to say something before you go. This movie is not just for people with autism.
Yeah.
The movie is also a big wake-up call to everybody who does not have a child with autism or know somebody on the spectrum. This is to open your eyes and to learn something. You will learn something. You will learn something. When you watch this movie, you're definitely going to learn something. I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, and it's not just for, parents, with kids in the spectrum. I agree. I think it's a movie that's worth seeing regardless,
Well, and I think.
And what are the and to follow the movie, you can go to on the Facebook site is the main one, which is it's the Poe movie.
No, the movie Poe.
The movie Poe.
The movie Poe.
And that's also the movie Poe, themoviepoe.com. And then Poe. You can just look up Poe on Twitter. You follow us on Twitter. We have Twitter.
Excellent.
Oh,
And then are tickets still available for the screening on Tuesday?
They are right now, but the theater holds 516 people. We're at 450 right now, so I'd get on it.
So they can RSVP at Poe screening at JaneOwenPR.com. And
that is correct.
Hopefully head over there and get in there. I will see you guys on Tuesday, and really, really appreciate your time.
You got to bring that to the red carpet. You can't do that thing at the red carpet. You should bring it.
I'll go live from the red carpet. There you go. You heard it here first.
All right, broadcast live.
Thanks,
from the red
guys.
carpet.
Thanks so much for being on Broadscast. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Jackie.
All right, I'll be right back.
You're listening to Broadscast with Kim Goldman and Jackie McDougall. Two broads with faces made for radio.
Thank you so much to my guest today. Kim Goldman, you are absolutely missed, and she will be back next week. But Jeff McDougall, thank you so much for stepping in. And also John Asher and Andrew Bowen. Make sure to check out Poe, the movie. Go to broadscast.com for more information. That's it. We will see you next week. Have a great week, everybody.